Growing up, we all had the childhood movie that scared the absolute pants off of us. For some, it might have been Coraline, but for others, mainly us, it was Batman vs. Dracula.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
And today, there's a break-in at the bank. It's a blood bank.
The Batman, being the spiritual successor to the highly acclaimed Batman the Animated Series, had some big shoes to fill, but today we want to look at the film that really stands out when Batman fought Dracula.
But before we get into it, guys, we want to hear from you in Question of the Week. What are your thoughts on the Batman versus Dracula? Because for me personally, this was a cornerstone of my childhood.
Guys, before we get into all of our own thoughts, we just ask you to please consider liking the video. Really helps us out. And if you like comic book culture and weekly discussions on it, consider subscribing. So getting right into the movie, it's very clear when starting it that tonally it's very different from the Batman 2004 series.
Yeah, it feels a lot more ominous and less kind of Saturday morning cartoony.
And I love how we start the movie, and I think for the first 10 minutes, Batman doesn't even talk. And rewatching it actually, some of the shots really reminded me of the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Really?
Yeah, like the shots of Batman coming out of the shadows and just staring down Joker or Penguin. We open up, we're at Arkham Asylum, and an inmate is very stupidly telling the Penguin about a hidden cache of jewels and treasure that's buried in the Gotham Cemetery.
Oh yeah, I remember. And obviously Penguin, being the greediest character in the Batman universe, he has to take the bait. That leads him to a graveyard, and I'm not gonna lie, this graveyard scene is horrifying. I know it's Batman, and the locations have to be very gothic, but this graveyard is ridiculous, dude. What family is coming to visit,
a relative?
Pay their respects here, bro. It's awful. All the graves are, growing in, different directions, some coming out of the walls and shit.
Yeah, and I do like how the Batman is able to balance some kind of humor in this movie, because before the Penguin gets there, there's a big breakout at the asylum. Joker and Penguin both escape trying to look for this treasure.
Yep.
And the guy who tips them off is oh, it's buried right behind the cross in the graveyard.
And there's a fucking 1,000 of them.
I know, and the Penguin starts freaking out because everywhere he looks there's a cross.
Yeah.
So again, it is very creepy, but as a child it always brings you back just enough that you can get through it.
100%.
But while Penguin is exploring the graveyard, Joker is getting chased down by Batman.
And it's just an awesome chase sequence. It's rain slicked, there's thunder.
And again, that's the part that really reminds me of Matt Reeves' Batman. He's jumping shadow from shadow trying to track down and pin the Joker.
There's no kind of corny interplay between them. Batman is just dead set on catching him. He's not feeding into his jokes and stuff. And we get a Joker death scene.
Even though it's kind of a fake out though,
it's kind of horrifying.
It is horrifying. The joy buzzer electrocutes as Joker's falling. He falls into this lake, and as he's sinking down, you just see the silhouette of him going further and further as he's getting electrocuted.
Yeah, and he just has this outstretched hand and his horrified face sinking into the water.
It's very Gollum and Mount Doom.
Yes,
dying with the One Ring.
Yes, it is. And then we cut back to Penguin, and he's not having a good time.
Not at all.
He finds the tomb, and he gets in there, and instead of finding treasure, he finds an Elden Ring boss arena, basically, with this floating coffin suspended by chains.
Yeah, if I walked into a tomb and I see this, I'm immediately turning away.
Imagine walking further into it.
I know. And Penguin being Penguin is finally found it. And he cuts all the chains with his umbrella, which is also just hilarious.
Yeah.
I love that his umbrella is just made of adamantium or something.
Yeah, but you know what's not made of adamantium?
What?
Him, because he cuts himself.
Which also is another point in the movie where you're oh shit.
Oh, there's blood in here. Okay.
And that's very rare, I feel,
very.
For a superhero show, especially aimed at kids. They're trying to sell toys and all that.
100%.
And some of his blood trickles down and hits this mummified corpse.
And it lands specifically on the heart, and it starts beating.
Batman villains are very particular because they're all terrible people, but I'm like scared for the Penguin's life here.
Well, yeah, because like he's a terrible person. I'm not even sure if this is a person he's encountering, you know? It's horrifying.
It's really, really scary. And I do like it too because in the Batman universe, sure, there's like a lot of mythical elements, supernatural storylines that come about, but for the most part, Gotham is just a city that's like plagued by regular crazy criminals.
Crazy criminals with like some out there kooky super science tech.
They don't shy away from the mythology of Dracula and just vampires as a whole. You know, as Dracula escapes and he kind of tracks down the Penguin, he makes him his human servant.
Yes.
And he goes into this kind of flashback explanation of how he got here. They even include elements of like Transylvania in there.
Transylvania, he talks about his bride Carmilla.
And he talks about like how hundreds of years ago he was sealed away, and the people of Transylvania were so shit scared of him that they were like, it's not enough that he's being buried here, we gotta ship him off to Gotham. It's their problem now.
Yeah, and it's not scary enough over there, you know?
Exactly. And one part that we briefly just mentioned that I just want to touch on, I fucking love that the Penguin is like the Dracula's bitch in this movie.
It's hilarious.
He even has a line where he's like, listen, buddy, cobblepots don't serve anyone.
Yeah.
And then Dracula uses his like weird mind control trick on him.
Yep.
And he just immediately becomes subservient.
And immediately after, people start disappearing.
And the Gotham news outlets have labeled these missing people of interest as the Lost Ones.
And as Batman's investigating the case of the Lost Ones, we get an amazing homage to Batman Year One. His investigation is interrupted by a GCPD SWAT team.
Throughout the whole movie, while Dracula's doing his thing, Gotham isn't used to supernatural elements to this degree.
Yeah.
And so they think that the disappearances of these people are Batman's fault because different bystanders and witnesses are saying like, oh, a giant bat came out of the shadows and took them.
And concurrently with the Dracula plot throughout the movie, there's a B plot about Vicky Vale interviewing Bruce Wayne and kind of going on a couple dates with him. We're led to think maybe she'll be a love interest.
Which is really nice because in the actual show, Alfred is always trying to get Bruce to like go on dates, even to the point where he makes him like a Tinder profile.
Yeah.
Online dating? Actually, I was examining the website for you, Master Bruce.
And Bruce being, you know, Batman, doesn't have time for it. But in this, we get to see a love interest that he actually like goes to dinner with, even though he's apprehensive about letting someone into his life.
And Bruce ends up inviting Vicky to one of those galas at Wayne Manor where I think he's showing off his Deus Ex Machina for later in the movie.
It's so funny, bro.
He's like, oh, we have this solar energy generation machine. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it stores and redistributes the solar energy from the sun. It's just like, okay, buddy.
At this gala, someone else pulls up, and it's friggin' Dracula.
No. Alucard.
Alucard. Dr. Alucard.
Oh shit, my bad. It's Dr. Alucard. He's so conspicuously Dracula, like it's ridiculous.
I know. Shows up in just a Halloween costume.
Just his red cloak with the giant collar. Beefsteak tartare.
So
He introduces himself as Dr. Alucard, which, like, you're just trying to get caught. And then Bruce is like, oh my god, that guy that looked like a vampire was a vampire.
yeah.
No way.
He goes, Alucard. Runs over to a mirror, just grabs this lady's lipstick out of her hand too, which I think he's like, I need to borrow this 1 second.
So absurdly dramatic for no reason.
And he writes Alucard on this mirror just to hold it up to himself to see the reflection.
Yeah, and you mentioned this before we started recording. He writes it backwards.
As it would be in the mirror as a reflection.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't even write, like, it's so fucking painfully obvious.
Did you need to do that? Like, it's really just for our benefit.
Yeah, it's just the cool shot of him holding up the mirror to the mirror.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was 8, this was awesome.
No, my mind was blown. I was like, absolute cinema.
You like didn't know it was him, but that was Dracula.
No fucking way. But we gotta get into another huge horror element of this movie, because at a certain point, it's revealed that, surprise, Joker didn't actually electrocute himself to death.
What?
I know, right? And he comes back to the tomb where he still thinks the treasure is buried. There's a super creepy moment, and even when I was rewatching it recently, it actually sent some shivers down my spine where Joker opens up the tomb and immediately is like dragged into it by Dracula, and the tomb closes and you hear him like fighting for his life in there, basically.
Yeah. We've talked about this in a couple other videos in the past, where Joker is a piece of shit, like, irredeemable, but it's always scary when Joker feels scared.
Once again, going into, like, the Halloween aspect of it, Joker comes back as a fucking vampire.
He's terrifying. We get that infamous line where there's a break-in at the bank. It's a blood bank.
This sequence has such top-notch action.
Yeah, I think this is honestly a good segue to even talk about the animation, because it's unbelievable in this movie.
Yeah, Batman has never moved in animation, or live action for that matter.
Agreed.
Like he does in this show. You can just tell the animators are having a blast.
100%. Even before the action starts, I love when Batman's walking through and you see Joker's eye reflected on the blood vials.
So creepy.
Oh my god.
Batman, under any other circumstances, would just beat up the bad guy and then bring them back to Arkham or GCPD, but he takes the opportunity to actually study Joker in the Batcave to try to find a cure for his vampirism.
He's also putting him through rehab, basically. Like, he's weaning him off the blood and curing him, which is nice to see.
And I do like it, too, when he does finally cure him, he realizes that vampirism isn't a permanent thing, and that the people of Gotham can be saved. A little bit of hope is restored.
Agreed. And once Dracula's assembled his army, which is like half of Gotham, basically, his next step is to resurrect his queen, Carmilla. Penguin suggests Vicky Vale.
So he captures her, and they start performing this, like, ritual to bring his long-lost love back to life.
Yeah.
And I love it because Batman shows up like he's straight out of a fucking Western, bro.
Oh my god, with all the holsters of, like, garlic bombs and shit.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
And he, like, throws back his cape, and you see all these vials of, like, vampirism cure that he has on hand.
Yep.
And there's this awesome sequence where he's fighting, like you said, pretty much half of Gotham as vampires, but he's at the same time curing them, and he's,
All
like,
of them.
taking them down non-lethally. It's just so sick.
So fucking cool, man. And then we get an absurd Batman versus Dracula fight.
And during the fight with Dracula, there's some really great moments where Dracula uses his, like, weird kind of hypnosis to lock Batman in his place, and we get some amazing introspective deep dives into Batman's psyche, and you get, like, flashbacks to him as a child having to witness his parents' death. I really like it because in the Batman show, it's, like, very clearly a year 1, year 2 show.
Yeah.
But you don't really get a lot of those flashbacks to his origin. Batman is getting his shit rocked.
For sure. But since all of underground Gotham is interconnected somehow and Batman knows about it, he's able to redirect him to the Batcave, where the big sun machine is.
Yeah, very convenient. Yeah. And of course, our boy Alfred, the absolute goat, the G, comes in with a fucking, like, 16th century crossbow, like a vial of the cure.
Like Tyrion Lannister.
Exactly. And he shoots Dracula right in the neck.
And then Batman turns on the big sun machine. Batman kills, but, like, fuck him.
I think if it's like a supernatural threat like this, it's fine.
It's completely fine.
Yeah, it's like when Batman kills, like, parademons. I'm not, like, questioning my morality watching this.
Dracula's like a charred skull on the ground, and Batman saves Vicky, and then we never see her again.
Just kind of a shame.
I don't like when superhero projects introduce a potential love interest and then do away with them and then they're never seen again. It kind of bugs me.
But wrapping up the movie, I mean, it's just a perfect Halloween movie.
It is.
You put it on, light some fucking candles.
Get some spooky vibes, but also the movie ends with hope.
Yeah, hope and, like, badassery.
Yes.
Bat-assery.
Yeah, you got him.
No, it really is just a perfect time capsule to, like, go back to when superhero products weren't afraid to take risks.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. Do you love it as much as we do? And if you guys want to see more content from us just like this, be sure to check out the Comic Lads membership on YouTube and Patreon.
Over there, you get access to a 1 to 2 hour weekly podcast, Discord access so you can chat with us daily, and early access to all of our main channel videos.
We love you.
We love you dearly.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.